Now, soap news. After 25 years on our screen, Sue's character, Eileen Grimshaw, finally bid farewell to the Corrie Cobbles.
Never knowingly understated, lads.
Well, they wanted to see you off. Won't be the same without you.
Yeah, we'll have to get AI to do your job.
You excited?
I just hope they'll be all right without me.
Mum, the middle-aged men.
Yeah, you're right. And even if they're not, who cares? I'm moving to Thailand.
I mean, you know I'm a massive Corrie fan, and I was saying to her, oh, don't tell me about this storyline because I want to watch it. And I did have a tear in my eye.
I did.
Yeah, I did. Because I'm not just saying that, I really love Corrie. I thought the taxi,
streetcar,
whatever you call that, all
yeah.
picking their horns was such a lovely touch.
Absolutely.
Jason coming back,
Yes.
obviously, but poor George.
Poor George.
I know.
I know. Yeah, I mean, it was very emotional. I mean, I knew, as you know, I told you I was leaving sort of like quite a long time ago, like way back last year. And before I even told Corrie that I was leaving, I rang up Ryan Thomas, who plays Jason, my son, and I said, Ryan, don't tell anyone. I'm going to leave. Would you come back just to take me out? And he says, well, I'd have to come. I couldn't say no to that, could I? So then when I went to the producers,
Oh, look
and they
how young
said,
he is
oh,
there.
look at him. When I went to the producers and they said, how do you want to leave? What do you want? And I said, well, I'd rather not be killed off, I think, but I'd really like for Jason to come back and for her to go off and start a new life and reinvent herself. And by the way, I've asked him and he said yes. So it was all sorted. So it was the best ending for me, but it was very emotional. 25 years is a long time.
Yeah, very long
It
time.
really
And
is.
you were there when I started.
I was. I mean, we go back a long way. But I just think that from an actress point of view, you know how much of a fan I am as you as an actress. And I just think so many actors would have overplayed that emotion in that scene. And I think it's why it was so powerful and so well-pitched. But one of the things that we always say is that you could say, I'm doing a film with Jake Gyllenhaal and then I'm going on to do another film with Julia Roberts, and people will still go, you could always go back,
could
though.
always
Do you
go
know what I
back.
mean? So just as you've left, people say you can always go back. But there is maybe something nice about the thought that maybe somewhere down the line, your character has been left open enough to do maybe a little storyline.
Yeah. I mean, my heart has always been there. I have so much to be grateful for. 25 years, I brought up my son, which, as an actor, it's almost impossible to find a job where you could be at home
Absolutely.
and you know, and go home at night and put them to bed. So I'm incredibly grateful. I've had the best time. I've worked with some incredible people there. And
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Great storylines.
Great storylines, and it is like family. So yeah, I mean, who knows if Todd gets married or whatever, and they want Mum to bob
That's
back,
how I'm
I'll bob
seeing
back.
it. There'll be something with Todd. You have to come back. I can't bear to think she's gone forever. But listen, you mentioned there about you know, maybe she's going off to kind of reinvent herself and create a new life. And there's new research by Good Housekeeping, which comes out tomorrow. It shows that 2/3 of women in the UK would change their career path, OK? So, and the most common drivers for that are to have a better work-life balance, to do something more meaningful and to take on a new challenge. And you just mentioned there about reinventing yourself. And I think women of a certain age, maybe the kids have left home, you know, they suddenly think, do I still want this life? You know, do I want to change something? But often people are scared of change, aren't they?
Well, I think you know, if you've spent a lifetime sort of like, you know, in a certain job, bringing up your families, you know, you and then suddenly you reach a point where you think, what now? What's for me? When society wants you to just disappear. You know, I'm 61 now, and I do think it's really important to reinvent yourself and to be somebody who just is a lifelong learner. Who, you know, and people often don't change because they think, oh, I can't do that, or I haven't got the confidence, or I couldn't do that, no, I'm not confident enough, you know, and it's all around fear and anxiety about... But it's, you know, it's not... We all have something to give. At our age, we've got an incredible wealth of experience. We make great negotiators, managers, overseers of all sorts of things. Your skills, whether you've just, you know, been out working for all the way through having children or whatever, or if you've been a mum at home and dealing, you're a manager.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think we forget how many skills and how much resilience we have and great perspective.
I think you said earlier as well, it's not just about career change. It's about life changes.
Life changing,
And
yeah.
making life decisions. And, you know, people who are maybe feeling a bit lonely, maybe their kids have left home and everything, and it's about having the confidence to say, I'm going to join a line dancing group or this type of group. It's about making
do
those
I want to
changes.
become?
Yeah, with me, it's about, I mean, obviously our career changes all of the time, but it's about learning recently to set more boundaries for my own mental health. I've made a change in my life, which I think is benefiting me.
And Brenda, you made a big change, didn't you, when you went into X Factor?
Yeah,
You were
from accountancy.
Reinvent is my middle name. That's what put that in there. You know, from X Factor. Well, it was even before X Factor because I was an office assistant. Then I wanted to train myself to become an accounts payable manager, and then X Factor. That was the biggest transformation, I think, for me, of just learning how to be independent and
putting
believe
yourself
in myself.
out there, isn't it?
Yeah,
To be
and my
judged,
self-worth. But I think for me, one of my big ways of, I say reinventing, but re-challenging myself was financially, because I've spoken on here how I wasn't great with money, and I got myself into a lot of credit card debt, and just getting my head around that to be debt-free, as in no credit cards. I don't deal with credit cards anymore, paid off that debt. But it taught me how to have a better relationship with money, to understand and appreciate it
And then
more.
also, you are now running a charity in your son's memory.
Yeah,
which, like,
reinvented myself in that one. I'm teaching... Yeah, there's a lot that I've learned. Thank you. But with that, the challenge isn't teaching myself how to run the charity, but the challenge is trying to help all those young people that I'm trying to help, and there's so much reward from that. So as much as I'm working 24/7, literally 24 hours a day, I'm always on the phone and doing this and doing that, then I'm doing the West End stuff, it's really rewarding. So I like that sort of challenge.